And we're live with another podcast. Mike and Jeff here again. It's been a little while since our last podcast, but felt we should do another one this week. But there's a couple things we can talk about. Houston Rockets looking to possibly move the Coyotes.
Yep.
The Flyers hired an assistant GM. Other Flyer stuff, more injuries around the league.
Yep.
But I guess we can kind of go right into it. So I guess first we can kind of talk about the injuries kind of plaguing the NHL still going on.
Yeah. So, some injuries on, putting players on the IR and some guys coming back. So,
Yeah.
for starters, Matt Murray, he'll be activated, and he's gonna back up Casey DeSmith for the Penguins tonight against the Blackhawks. And so that's
That's
good
huge
news for him, for them. And then Ryan Miller, he's going to. This is a big one, and
he's a backup, but it's still
he
big.
is, but he's a valuable backup. He's missing 6 weeks with a sprained MCL. So
and
that's
the thing that you worry with
tough
him is Miller, who's already
36 maybe.
Yeah, in his mid-30s. How is that going to do for him for rest of the season? Let alone his career?
It's and now the Ducks are going to have to rely on John Gibson even more
than they already are. True.
So that's stuff there. Alec Martinez, he's going to the IR for the LA Kings. That's a big loss for them there.
No, Ryan Miller's 38.
Oh wow, exactly. Yeah,
but he's a free agent next season.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
who knows what happens there?
We'll see what happens. Honestly, I could see him even retiring.
That's probably just a 1-year deal every year for him anyways.
Exactly.
Because at this point, he knows he's just a backup.
Yes.
And whether he likes staying in L.A. and in Anaheim, then that's for him. Because at this point, he's just playing just to kind of where he would like to play.
I agree. No, that's fair to say. And then one of the other biggest injuries, Kevin Shattenkirk, he's sidelined for 2 to 4 weeks with a separated shoulder that he suffered on on Monday, just 2 days ago, against the Tampa Bay Lightning in that game. And that's a pretty tough loss for New York, because the Rags, they're already hurting a lot, and they can't really afford more injuries,
Yeah, and that's kind of a bigger one for them, because right now they're slipping. They were near the top, but now they're 5th in the Metro.
Right.
Which I guess people kind of expected, because no one really expected the Rangers to do as well as they even are right now. People were probably expecting them to be where the Flyers are, maybe even the Devils.
Yeah, I agree. And then
obviously all this is a little bit on Hank too, and how well they're playing, but still.
We'll see what happens. Probably the scariest injury that had happened.
You showed me this before the podcast started.
Yeah, David Backes of the Boston Bruins. He was playing in a game where Boston was hosting against the Arizona Coyotes, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson was trying to clear a puck from his own zone, I believe, or somehow he just slipped and fell. And as he fell, his left skate came up and clipped David Backes right in the face. And looking at the Jeff, it's gruesome.
Yeah.
It is gruesome, and
obviously, I don't think it was It was obviously not purposely done.
Somehow, it was a complete accident. Somehow, Backes, and here's the aftermath. There's actually no sign of really any damage,
but
which
still,
is remarkable. Still a very scary look, but
it's scary anytime you see someone get,
absolutely
skate up high or anywhere really.
Yeah,
especially like at Matt Coker when he stepped on that guy's Achilles.
That was Eric Carlson. That was Eric Carlson.
Eric Carlson's Achilles. There's a bunch of bad
Well, that was a little bit different.
It's different, but I'm just saying.
But
I'm just saying, like the skate, it's always scary.
Right,
anytime you see him come up and hit someone.
Yeah, remember a few years ago on opening night against the LA Kings, Shane Gostisbehere took the skate to the cheek.
Yeah. He still played, but
he still played, and he got marked up pretty good.
Yeah.
But it always gives you chills.
Mm-hmm. That and when you get a puck up high, those are like the two things.
Yes.
Because not our last one, but one of our recent ones, the line guy got the stick up high or a puck up high on his eye.
Right.
Yes. But there are another big returning person.
Also, I'm just seeing this now. Ricard Raquel has a sprained ankle, and there's no timetable yet for his return. So an even bigger loss for the Anaheim Ducks.
But good news for the Lightning is that Andrei Vasilevsky was activated from IR.
Yes.
Not that they really needed it because they're starting to gain. And
they were just on a 7-game win streak, and on that win streak,
they're 9-1 in their last 10.
Yeah, Steven Stamkos became the third player in Tampa Bay Lightning franchise history to reach the 700-point milestone, joining Marty St. Louis and Vincent Lecavalier, and of course,
keeping it in Tampa Bay.
Exactly, and of course, Stamkos did it on a goal, and he completed the night with a hat trick.
Of course, he did.
So, congrats to the captain for Tampa Bay there.
They only have 7 losses this season.
Remarkable.
That's the least out of any team in the NHL.
That's unbelievable.
And only 1 overtime loss. They are by far... They could win the President's Trophy.
Well, it's
still early to say, but...
I know, but I think they could. Here's my problem with them is that I believe the President's Trophy curse is real because you have to date back to a very, very, very long time since the last team that's won the President's Trophy won the Stanley Cup.
True. Nashville won it, and then look what happened to them. They lost one of the first few rounds in the playoffs last year, but they're still right at the top in the Central.
Actually, it's not as long as I thought it was.
What?
Taking a look.
Would it be Washington that was the one that would?
At the previous winners. Okay, this is annoying me. Oh, here we go. It was actually Chicago. I didn't think it was that long.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago 2012, 2013. Remember the shortened year. They won the Stanley Cup.
Right.
Before that, though, in a full season, it was Detroit in 2007, 2008, and they won in 6 against the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Still, to your point, it's still...
Right, it's still rather difficult to do because if you look...
Well, even just looking at every year, people think Tampa Bay is the favorite.
And they practically are.
Yeah.
In the last 3 years, ironically, the President's Trophy winner, the Predators last year and the 2 years before that, both being the Capitals, they all lost in the second round. So,
but still, Nashville's still killing it, and Tampa Bay's still killing it.
Yes.
And Winnipeg's back to where they were before as well. Yeah, that's a good one for them because not that they really needed it, but having Vasilevsky back really helps them.
Oh, absolutely. So it's even going to be a scarier of a team.
Mm-hmm. They're also 2-0 in shootouts.
Yeah.
No surprise there. Jordan Stahl's on IR for the Hurricanes.
That's right.
Oshie's back for the Capitals.
Yep. That's pretty big there.
Kemper's back for Coyotes.
I did see that I think Ronta's going back on the IR.
Yeah. He can't...
Neither goalie can stay healthy for...
Which is why they picked up Pickard.
Arizona. No, they didn't. Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
they were the ones that cleaned
No,
them.
that's right. I'm sorry. Because I kept thinking because I heard so many talks of him going, of Toronto making sense of the Maple Leafs picking Pickard back up.
Pickard went
and, but no, you're right. He did go into Arizona. I was like, hold on.
These are little older ones, but
yes.
Bobby Ryan and Duchesne for the Senators.
Yeah.
That's kind of big as well. At least for the Senators wise, because those are two big pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But those are pretty much the bigger injuries. Alec Martinez for the Kings also on IR. Anisimov for the Blackhawks. But I guess we can kind of transition over a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But before we kind of get to the Flyers talk, yesterday something I found interesting is that the Houston Rockets owner met with Gary Bettman to possibly move the Arizona Coyotes to Houston, which was that's always been a speculated thing that if Arizona moves, but that's kind of interesting. Houston would move them over. But if they were, because I don't think talks went far, he just met with them.
Mm-hmm.
But if they did move, then the question becomes, is it just like Arizona, the Coyotes themselves moving over to Houston, or does Houston do like a huge like revamp? And,
Right.
like they're completely different from the Coyotes.
I don't know. This is
But like, because they just got those nice third string backup or retro jerseys.
I love those jerseys so much, and they wear them every Saturday.
Yep,
It's amazing.
it's always a Saturday that every team wears their third jerseys.
I know, but I love those third
Yeah.
jerseys.
I do like most all the Coyotes jerseys for the most part, even the regular ones.
Yeah, no, I like those. They're sharp.
Mm.
They only had preliminary talks, according to sources. The NHL sources tell Fox 26 Sports that Houston Rockets owner Tillman Fertitta has met with the commissioner, of course, Gary Bettman, and had preliminary talks about buying and relocating the Arizona Coyotes to Houston. Nothing's happening regarding those conversations at this point, according to the sources, and no decisions are close.
But also is this too, because even before, like when Arizona was in Phoenix, there was always an outcry. Because I remember there was like the hearings and everything of possibly them moving, and all their fans were coming. They don't have a lot of fans, but they have a small, devoted amount of fans.
Excuse me. They really do. They typically travel well. If you go to Philadelphia, in Philly, you'll pretty much see a good amount of Arizona fans.
Yeah.
And it is.
you wouldn't think of it because it's
Right.
Arizona, and why would you think?
Exactly.
Which is why I think they're always a team that's possibly on the move. Cause it's
but
in Arizona, but still.
Honestly, they're pretty good devoted fan base.
Yeah.
And that it doesn't remind me, but I'm curious now. I want to look up the this is ESPN. I don't know if we or should we do Forbes?
Yeah. Right now they're 20. They're they're 28th in the league for attendance with 13,000 averaging.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. Philadelphia's 4th. Chicago's 1st, obviously.
Yeah.
Then Montreal, Toronto, then Philadelphia. Tampa Bay, surprisingly, is 5th.
Really?
Yeah.
Where are you looking?
ESPN.
ESPN. Okay, so Montreal's 2nd. Dead last is the Islanders.
That's no surprise because
They got rid of Tavares.
it's so confusing what they're doing because half their home games are in the Barclays Center, the other half is in the Coliseum.
Yeah,
At
I don't
least for
like.
this
I don't
season.
like that.
Which is probably why Tavares didn't want to come back.
Winnipeg is very low on this list. They're 25.
Yeah.
That's shocking. You would think a very strong team. Nashville is 18th. Buffalo's right above them.
The Rangers are 19th. That's surprising to me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because they kind of fell off, but still, that's kind of
Look
surprising.
at Calgary. They're at 13th.
New Jersey,
Minnesota's all the way at 7th.
I
and
knew
Detroit's
it. I
6th.
knew New Jersey never sold out that much. 26. Because if you think about it, because I've always said this, South Jersey, Philadelphia, North Jersey, it's the Rangers.
Yes.
So where are the Devil fans in there? They're mixed in there, but
They're hiding. They're hiding, but they'll come out eventually.
I knew it. Yeah, some of these are. That's surprising. Buffalo's 17th. I thought they would have been higher.
Yeah.
Boston's 15th.
Wow.
Very quickly, Vegas is 11th.
Damn, that's impressive.
That's at least. This is for the 2018-19 this season so far.
Yes. Still very impressive.
Just out of curiosity, comparing it to
Also-
last season, which the Flyers actually had 3rd last season.
Yeah. Kind of nicely surprising there, in my
Mhm.
opinion. I forgot to mention.
Wow, even with Winnipeg going all the way to the
conference
finals, they were still 26th.
I know that shocks me most. Really quickly, just because I forgot to mention this during the injury bit, Madison Bowie of the Washington Capitals got hurt at practice.
Mm-hmm.
He had to be helped off the ice. He wasn't able to put much weight on his left leg. He then gingerly limped back to the locker room eventually. He was able to walk on his own power at least. And then later on in the day, Bowie did return on the ice and to test his leg. So I believe he might be good to go. It might have just been a stinger for him, but
That could actually be good for in some part to the NHL, especially when Seattle comes in.
yeah,
Because they just moved to Houston, and Houston's easier to move in the central than
Right.
in Arizona.
it's true.
But what would you think of having a Houston team?
That'd be unique.
Yeah. Like every sports team, every other sports league that I can think of, there's 2. Except for baseball, I think there's 2, Texas and Houston.
Yep. Texans,
NHL, there's
Texans and Astros.
Texans and Cowboys
Yeah.
in the NFL. Mavericks and Rockets. So
Yeah. There you go.
NHL, there's just Dallas.
Yeah, there really is. Just curious to see what's gonna happen. I honestly,
I
I'm
think
not.
they would probably. They could, because I feel like
Yeah.
Houston's another kind of good sports kind of city.
Yeah.
They've even been rumored, for those people who care about the NLL, the National Lacrosse League, they've even been rumored to the Houston Rockets owner to have a team in Houston.
Interesting.
But I don't know what else there is really league-wise.
This is kind of league-wise, but also Flyers-wise. The Flyers will honor a recently retired Scott Hartnell on December 20th against...
Scott Hartnell?
Yes. Hartnell down December 20th against the Nashville Predators, which is the first and last team that Hartnell had played for.
Lou Nolan's the only one I've ever heard say Hartnell.
Hartnell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my gosh. That's great.
And
now that you
also-
mention that to me,
Yeah, I can't.
that's in my
Scott
head.
Hartnell.
It also cracks me up when when Lou says hooking.
Yep.
Not hooking. Hooking.
Mm-hmm. I like Lou. He's the
Pretty
best.
great. He's a nice guy. I've met him a
Yeah.
few times.
I
It's
bet you
wonderful. Have is the secret word.
have. No, it was Lou Nolan.
As Lou, that makes more sense. Lou Nolan is the secret word. Woohoo! All right, so moving on for
Other kind of, I guess, Flyers big news-wise is they hired Chuck Fletcher, I guess, hired his first move. Also from Minnesota.
Yes, Brent Flahr as the new vice president and assistant GM.
Mm-hmm.
And in his new role, he will be heavily relied upon for decisions involving player personnel while supervising all aspects of the club's scouting department and overseeing the player development of the club's prospects. Brent brings over 20 years of experience in the NHL and an extraordinary amount of knowledge to our hockey club, Fletcher said in making the announcement. I've known Brent for many years, and his track record speaks for itself as a scout, assistant GM, and even GM of an AHL team. His expertise of building and growing a strong foundation will be extremely valuable at all levels as we look to take the next step in our path toward winning a championship.
Yeah. I mean, we probably won't see much from what he does, but I guess draft-wise and when you come around those ways, we'll probably see him more and see how that goes for the Flyers. But
and if people are wondering, who is this guy, and like what type of players would he draft? Well, there is good news is there is there's a more track record for talent that Flahr has drafted in the past. So, for example, in 8 seasons for Flahr, he's drafted Mikael Granlund and Jason Zucker in 2010, Jonas Rodin in 2011, Matt Dumba 2012, and even Alex Tuck in 2014. Dumba also currently leads all NHL defensemen with 12 goals this season. Unfortunately, there is a little backlash only because so far in his wild career, when he was with them, he hadn't really found that diamond in the rough type player in the third or later rounds. So, like for example, how Hextall found Oscar Lindblom and Shane Gostisbehere. I'm trying to think. Felix Sandstrom, can't think of his name for a second. But yeah, so I'm just curious to see. Well, then again, I think with the assistant or the scouts that the Flyers do have with Flahr
Yeah.
and his prior knowledge, that's going to help a lot.
Yeah. And also, I guess this is kind of older, but since we last podcasted, but Fletcher did make his first call up.
He did,
which surprised a lot of people. Which I guess isn't that surprising when you look at it, because Verone is the leading Phantoms
and
scorer of the season, and he was the AHL MVP.
It's funny because, you know, when you first hear that Phil Verone got caught up, like, wait, really? Like, why him? You know,
but then you see,
if you look closer at his numbers, it makes sense. Because
that's something Hextall would normally do, is send him up. But he's more of a, he only has, I think, with this last game in Winnipeg, he only had like 10 or so starts or something in the NHL, but he's more of an AHL player. But
yeah,
he actually played more minutes in Winnipeg than Laterra.
Mm-hmm.
Only a couple of seconds, but still, he played 9 minutes. That's more than they were giving.
Yeah, that's right.
Knack or what's his
Vorobiev,
Vorobiev or Goulburn.
Yeah.
Even Laterra at times, or Lindblom. Lindblom actually played 14 minutes. He played more than JVR.
Wow.
And that leads me to my next point, which I told you when you first got here that I wanted to talk about Lindblom, because for some reason he seems to be the easy person the Flyers go after for putting him on the fourth line. Because it appears he's going to be on the fourth line with Verone and Weiss. Because the lines, I think these are still the lines, but it's going to go Giroux, JVR, Konechny, Couture, Voracek, Raffle, Patrick, Simmons, Lawton, and Verone, Weiss, and Lindblom. Some of those are kind of surprising, but I still feel like you have to put Patrick with Voracek and Lindblom, because even when they first came, but at least put Patrick with Lindblom, because they found a chemistry late last season to the beginning of this season when they were together.
That they did,
and that could be helped by Voracek, and all three of them are at the moment not producing. And before getting put to the fourth line, I mentioned this to you. He had 6 points in 7 games, and then they moved him to the fourth line, and since then he's Lindblom, that is, has 1 assist, 1 point. That came against Ottawa.
Nice. Yeah,
and
I
mean,
think
when you put him with Weiss, and maybe Verone can help a little bit.
I think he might be able to help a little bit, but not entirely.
Yeah. I thought there was a little help a little more when they put him with Lawton or Raffle, because that at least can help him a little more offensively.
Yeah.
When you put him with Laterra and Weiss, that's where you
that's where everything's going to fall apart, because those guys are bottom 6 guys.
Yeah,
you know,
and another thing too.
Still
no Wheel. I don't know what's going to happen there. At this point, I'm going to say he might be the trade bait.
Oh, I agree.
If Fletcher goes that way.
Because he's one of, Hexy's guys.
I would say that, but more so, you can probably get a good amount for him. For the time he does play, he's good.
He can do a decent amount, yeah. I think
he's not great, but he's good.
If you swing the right trade, and if you're smart enough, you might be able to steal a 3rd-round pick out of him.
Sure.
I think you could.
You don't have Hextall anymore, and I'm sure you can't really go to Boston.
Yeah.
They gave you a 3rd round for
Ronaldo. Just waiting for that reference. But no, so for tonight's game against the Calgary Flames, the Flyers, this is what the lines could look like. Yeah. James Van Riemsdyk, Claude Giroux centering that line with also Travis Konechny on the right wing, Michael Raffle, Jake Voracek as the wingers for the second line, being centered by Sean Couture, who comes back after missing, I think only a game after being listed as day-to-day with what was an upper body injury. And then you have Scott Lawton, Nolan Patrick, Wayne Simmons on the third line, and Oscar Lindblom, Phil Verone, and Dale Weiss on the fourth line. So, with that being said as well, Anthony Stolarz will be in net tonight. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that Stolarz is getting another start. I don't mind having Raffle on the second line, but at the same
Raffle's
time,
just a guy that you love play. You can put him anywhere.
You really can.
And actually, I actually kind of like that move because since he came back from his injury, Raffle's played really well.
Yeah, and I like that about him.
At least what I saw in Buffalo, he played really well. And to start the game in Winnipeg, the first period.
Well, here's where I have issues with the lines. Do you like the fact that, because I like the idea of JVR and Giroux on the top line together, but at the same time, I kind of don't because I like Giroux on that left wing.
So do I.
So that's why it's kind of a flaw.
They're going to put that back.
I hope so.
I mean, for once, Couturier at center, he's probably going to be with two good line mates because every other time he was always not the best.
I mean,
but,
his current line mates, if these are the lines, stick with what they are. Apparently, Raffle and Voracek, they're not bad.
No, not at all.
And I think that's.
And if you want to go this way,
yeah,
that the two parts of that was the beginning of the first line last year. The beginning of the year, it was Giroux, Voracek, and Couturier.
Yeah.
I guess this is their way of trying to get more production outside of that first line. Because lately it's just been the first line producing.
Yeah, but that kind of happened last year when in the playoffs where they took Konechny off the top line and said, we want to spread around the
later
scoring.
Put Lindblom on the fourth line and then in the press box.
Yeah.
But and that's also because he was struggling then too. But
right. But still, you get what I'm saying. They're trying to spread out the scoring more, and last time they did that didn't really help.
I am curious to see how Lawton and Patrick will be together.
I surprisingly think that's going to be a very sneaky line.
It could be.
Because you have a great power forward
in
Simmons, a strong power forward in Lawton, and a nice two-way forward in Patrick.
Yeah. He can set up a lot of guys.
Yeah, and he can shoot really well.
The reason why Weiss has looked good this season is because of Patrick.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And they finally put him on the fourth line.
Yep.
Screwing over Lindblom, but, Also, there's no Laterra.
Yes, so that's one of the positives.
Take the little positives out of this.
Yep.
I would like to did anyone tweet out about the D pairs?
We can take a look. I haven't really seen
my only guess
much.
would be the only change would be Full-on coming in or something, but...
Yeah, there's not. Let's see here. I'm not seeing really anything about
the D pair,
the defensive pair.
That's something I also wanted to bring up to you too, and I don't know if you noticed it. Because did you see either the Jets game or the Sabres game? Because I think you were away this past weekend, and I'm not sure if you saw
Jets game. No, I didn't bother watching that one.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo game, I watched bits and pieces. Okay. Yeah.
Because I've noticed at times there's been he changes the new assistant coach who's working on the defense. He switches up his. I don't know if it's because of or it's just me and it's just based off changes or whatever. Like someone's caught in a change or something. But there's been some surprisingly different combinations that I've seen. At times I've seen Gudas with Haig, which I don't know why you put two guys like that together. Even though they did that last year with Manning and Gudas. They had Sanheim with Ghost at times. And obviously back with Provorov and Ghost.
Yeah.
I think I may have even seen Provorov with Gudas at one point. Provorov with McDonald I saw at times too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's just because at both games they were down early and they just wanted to change it up.
Right.
That way.
I want to see because the nice thing
I get putting Sanheim and Ghost together.
Yeah.
When you're down because they're both offensively Sanheim's more two-way, but
and
he's still
and
good
did you
offensively.
see how well Sanheim performs
Yeah.
with the 2-goal
Yeah.
game? That was amazing.
Mm-hmm. And I think you might have a point streak going right now, if I'm not mistaken.
He might.
I'm going to look that up.
While you do that, I kind of want to go back to Michael Raffle for a second because I have a very interesting...
The person I always say is going to come out with a breakout year never does.
I have a very interesting article here from NBC Sports Philadelphia. Or sorry, just NBCSports.com.
He does not.
And what a shame.
He has 3 points in the last 3 games, 2 goals, and then the 1 assist in Winnipeg. He didn't get any points in Buffalo.
Right. Well, basically what the article is mentioning is that, the fact that Raffle is back and he's doing well, I don't know how you feel about this, but what do you think the Flyers could do? Because there's a chance that Raffle actually has some trade value to his name. Do you think they would flip him for something? And if so, what could realistically that be?
In February, when the trade deadline comes, the Flyers is still 5, 6, 7 where they are now.
Yeah.
I could see him moving him. Like I said, I could see him moving Wheel too. But obviously, you'd probably get more from Raffle. But what would you get back? Like, what is the article talking about?
It kind of just mentions that, well, for someone with his size, skill, and ability to control the puck, he could get 30 to 35 points. He does right now. He does have an expiring contract at a very manageable $2.35 million cap hit, which makes his situation even more appealing. So he could just be a rental player for someone.
Yeah.
He's a strong forward who plays big. He's a great penalty killer.
Mm-hmm.
He's very versatile because literally you can play him
He
anywhere.
and Lawton have great chemistry too.
I think so. I really do. And he can honestly, if you need him even on the second power play unit, you can throw him in front of the net.
He's one of the Flyers' stronger forwards, maybe the strongest forward.
He's very, very strong.
Like last year, it's taking him forever to get that first goal. He only has 4 points.
Yeah.
Yet he's also been hurt for a lot.
Right, and I feel bad for him because he's a real solid player. It's just
he has 118 points in his career.
Nice.
64 goals, 54 assists.
Okay.
And
very good.
359 games played. So
not too shabby.
Yeah. You got 2 points in Buffalo the other day.
Yeah.
Plus 3 if you're into that stat.
I'm curious in seeing what just happens with him, but I don't know if there's necessarily a whole lot going on for that type of deal like that, but we'll, again, wait and see.
Yeah. But, he's 30 as well, so. And a team's not going to be worried about his contract either, because for those stats, it's not worth like a giant contract. Maybe like 2 or 3 or like $1 million or 2.5, something like that.
Yeah, I honestly I think that's fair to say.
It's only because he's been hurt too, so that kind of devalues some of him as well. But yeah, he's always one I've liked.
Mm-hmm.
The same way I liked Couturier too before everyone else. But everyone was going after him because he wasn't offensive enough.
Remember when everyone wanted Sean Couturier to be traded to Ottawa for Bobby Ryan?
Yeah. Remember when everyone still wants the Flyers to trade away Giroux and Voracek?
Yep. Well, cause, I wanted to kind of bring this.
And my favorite thing, I only brought that up too, is because the other day I think you might have liked or commented on something saying since 2010 or 11, Drew's like second in points.
Basically. But something I did want to bring up is that, because I recently wrote an article for Sports Talk Philly, and I kind of mentioned how Chuck Fletcher, Chuck. With just his tenure starting basically for the Philadelphia Flyers, how long will it take before he kind of sparks his team? You know, he's gotten the message to the veteran players because he called up Phil Varone just the other week. And how long will it take before he makes a decent trade? Or, you know, because this entire time,
I don't know.
The Flyers, from the moment Fletcher got named the GM for the Flyers, the team has been under an entire evaluation period.
Right.
The question is how long will that entire period last? Will it last a few weeks? It maybe just until the trade deadline, maybe till the end of the season, or will it just end up till the again at the end of the season,
right?
With or without.
But
the
another
team
thing
playoffs.
too, I didn't bring this up during his press or when he talked about his press conference, but Mitch brought it up the last time he was here.
Yeah,
but he was talking about Carter Hart, who has been killing it.
He has.
That he said if it's in a month or 3 months, or he went like monthly, if he's playing like really well, then he might contemplate bringing him up.
Sure.
Which is more than what Hackstall has ever said, because he's always been like, he's not coming up this year. Next year maybe. And if he puts up the numbers that he's done these past couple games for the Phantoms,
right,
then I might consider it. Like if he can keep it going for like a month or so, or 2 or 3.
Sure.
And the Flyers are still having goaltending issues and injuries, then
right. As much as I would love to see Carter Hart up here,
that's the only way.
Just keep him.
That's the only way it's coming up.
I don't
this
even
season.
know. Just I would love to have Hart get experience and just help get trained by someone like Brian Elliott.
Right.
But at the same time, it's just.
But once Brian Elliott comes back, he's going to be healthy. He was also on the road trip with the Flyers.
Yeah. He's close to returning, which is nice.
Rumor is that, or the thing is that he could maybe by the end of the road trip come back, which is huge because I don't know what the Flyers are going to do with their goaltending situation.
Yeah. So we'll
I
have
wonder
to wait
if they can get something out of Neubert. I doubt, but they might put him on the block. While we're talking about the trade block and who they could put on.
Right.
Because at the moment, it seems like what I would do is Elliott your starter and Stolarz your backup. Because at this point, I think Stolarz is at best a backup and NHL backup.
Hey, I'm fine with that because I'm just happy the team is giving him a chance again.
Yeah.
Because he had a pretty bad, I think it was a torn ACL 2 years ago or a year ago or something like that, and because he was supposed to be one of the better goalies for the Flyers last season.
Yeah, but his injury.
Yes, but his injury, obviously prevented that.
I think also what helped is that in the first Buffalo game, Lyon looked bad.
Yes,
and he came in and looked pretty good. No, yeah, there was that because that was his first game, right? Not the Toronto game.
He did come in for the Toronto game. I believe.
I'm trying to remember if. Oh no, that was Pickard. Sorry, in Buffalo. Sorry. I got ahead of myself.
Sorry.
It was Toronto. He came in. He led 2 goals by or something like that, but he played pretty well. He stopped like what? I think it was like 35 or something.
Right.
In so many minutes.
Yeah, it's
or like 35 or 37.
We can always double check, but
either way, he stopped a good amount of shots.
Yeah, he did, and I think again he's been getting more and more comfortable during
rehabbing from his knee.
Exactly, and that's kind of really what it is.
To me, he seems to be someone who could be good, has good games. He might get a shutout or 2.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to be considered great. I haven't seen much from him to say he's going to be a great backup or possible like starter, but I think he's more of a backup at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is with Fletcher,
because it was always like, because now what do you do with your goalies? Because at this point, it's because last year it seemed Lyon was ahead of Stolarz. So that helps because of injury, but you thought maybe because of Lyon's playoff and everything in the playoffs of the Phantoms and everything that maybe he's ahead of him. But now it seems like Stolarz is ahead of him. goaltending chart wise for the
You
Flyers.
could kind of see just because of how I think he's looked
And
better.
going off that, because again, free agency and everything, but I think they're
Right. I don't know. I gotta kind of think about this one, but and then also I think the idea of how long will Wayne Simmons still be in
relevant.
the orange and black?
Well, seeing how if you believe what Hextall said and is talking to Simmons in his press conference about them talking about contracts, they seemed way off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of what. Then again, I don't know if it's necessarily like a problem with Hextall.
Yeah,
trying
Stolarz is
to-
an RFA this off season, and Lyon is 2020, 2021.
Okay.
Okay, so you have a decision at least to make with. You might
Yeah.
give Stolarz another year.
I would give him another year or two. Why not?
You're probably gonna have Neuer at walk at this point,
Oh, absolutely, hands down. There's no way Michael Neuvirth is coming back to Philadelphia.
and they're
next
gonna
season.
sign Elliott back because he's actually played. When he has played, he's played.
Yes. Not only that,
Great. He hasn't played great, but he's played good, and he's made
But-
the steps he has to make.
he will become a good veteran backup
To learn
for
from,
Carter
sure.
Hart
Sure.
and eventually Felix Sandstrom.
By that point, it might just already be hard up once.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It is
That'd be,
oh, I see what you're saying. All right,
if
yeah,
those
yeah.
two can play at their potential, that'd be great.
That's gonna be a great 1-2 punch. I think, to be honest. No, I'm excited about it.
That could, not that it could be close or similar to it, but that could be similar to Fleury Murray
Yeah,
when they were together.
yeah.
But then you got that situation in 2020, 2021 when he can only protect one goalie. You obviously protect Hart, right?
Yeah.
'Cause he's more of your future than
Well,
you
then
have
here's
with
the other
him.
issue. I'm just realizing
Sandstrom.
you got the Seattle expansion draft.
Yep.
2021, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta.
And you can't
make-
have the luck that you had with the Vegas one because you had some of your younger guys not eligible.
Yes, and now they will be eligible.
Mm-hmm. Because by then, even Myers will be eligible.
Yeah. I think realistically, if the Flyers aren't careful enough, they could lose Salt Myers in that expansion draft, and I would hate to see that.
I think it would be if they have Haig by then, they might have unprotect Haig and be okay with losing Haig and keep Myers. But that's also dependent on how Fletcher sees these guys.
Yeah. I don't know.
'Cause-
It's
Or maybe he might not have much love to Myers and
mhm.
by then, or I know.
uh,
That's still a couple years from now, but you
I
can
know, but
depending on
it's
who you
still-
protect.
still not a fun thought.
Nope. Mm-hmm. And the weird thing also is by then, both the year after that, Couturier and Giroux are both free agents.
Mm-hmm.
Giroux would be 34 then. Couturier, he's only 26, believe it or not, will be 30.
Dang.
Yep.
That's unreal.
Mm-hmm. Voracek and JVR, those three are the only guys, and some of the other. Stop calling me. Random numbers keep calling me.
Maybe they're trying to call in.
Yeah, maybe, because someone from Virginia is calling me.
Hey, you never know. You never know.
Yep. After earlier, I got a call from Colorado.
Oh, nice. Another caller. Woo.
Hey, can you stop talking about the Flyers, guys?
What about the Avalanche?
Yeah, come on.
You want the
I'm
Capitals?
here for the Avalanche. I'm here for the McKinnon talk.
And speaking of abs, actually, we can kind of mention this. Mika Rantanen is at
Yeah.
50 points already.
You're calling again.
Might be important.
I don't.
Then again, if it was that important, they'd leave a voicemail.
Yeah. And
I'm curious, though.
I don't know anyone from Virginia, so it's not that important.
You're interrupting our podcast.
Yep. Yeah, that is impressive. I don't think anyone would have expected him to be the.
No,
People probably would have expected to be McKinnon.
right,
but I don't know if much people would.
Well,
because
because for me, I do like Mikko Rantanen.
So do I.
A lot. Because when he first got drafted, oh man, he got drafted out. Yeah, it was 2015. Another 2015 draft pick.
Of course he was.
Yeah, right. He's drafted 10th overall. So think about this. The teams that I could have had Mikko Rantanen, Florida, who picked Lawson Krause. Dallas, who picked...
They traded Krause, too.
They did. I forgot about that.
He's in Arizona.
Yes, that's right. Dallas, Dennis, I guess Dennis Gurianov. Boston had 3 picks in a row. Only one of them actually making sense is Jake DeBrusk. Islanders got a steal in Matt Barzal. Winnipeg, Kyle Connor, great pick there. The next few ones are great. Thomas Chabot in Ottawa, Evgeny Svechnikov, the brother of Andrei Svechnikov. Evgeny's in Detroit. Joel Eriksson Ek, not a bad pick from Minnesota. Colin White for Ottawa. Ilya Samsonov for Washington. Brock Besser for Vancouver. TK for Philly. Jack Roslovic from Winnipeg. Noah Juleson for Montreal. Jacob Larson, Anaheim. Anthony Biel. I always mess up on the same. This one. Yeah. Bolivier, thank you. God. Columbus, Gabriel Carlson, and Arizona, Nick Merkley. That's all the picks after Mikko Rantanen.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Also, I wonder if maybe he thought, this is kind of random, but going back to Verone's call-up, maybe Fletcher thought this could be like a spark, a tiny spark.
I think that this is where
at
he's
least for
starting
the fourth
with.
line.
No, honestly, I think you're right. This is exactly where he's starting
Verone's
with.
28.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that.
Yeah. He's also a free agent, which the Flyers are going to easily just sign him back because he's an AHL guy.
Right.
I mean, when he won an AHL MVP and the Phantom's leading scorer, at some point you have to consider seeing what he can produce for your team, for the Flyers, if he's already producing the AHL.
But you gotta wonder if this little spark doesn't help the team a whole lot. And
it's not much of a spark,
right?
But at least for the bottom.
It's a think of like a thunderbolt. This is more like sparkles.
Yeah.
And it's a small move, but it's a move nonetheless.
Yeah.
But I think
it must have been something he saw in that Phantoms game he went to.
Yeah. I think so.
The Phantoms got destroyed in that game,
but it's something he saw in Verone.
He unfortunately saw a Lion game and not a Carter Hart game.
Yeah.
Nothing against Lion, but
we want Carter.
Yeah, if you're the new guy, you kind of want to see him or want to see the franchise or your possible franchise goalie. Also, I've seen a couple people tweet this out of potentially going after Bobrovsky this offseason.
Right.
Which I don't think they're even really talked to him at all, but I think it's more people thinking that he'd be a good addition or whatever. But I completely forgot what I was talking about. I got distracted about Philly's things on Twitter.
They just need to sign Harper already. Bryce, come to Philly.
Yeah, I completely forgot what I was talking about.
We were talking about Verone.
Right.
And Carter Hart, Alex Lyon.
Oh, yeah. Or no, it was Bobrovsky. That's what it was.
How did we get to there?
Because I saw people like John Bork and people were tweeting that he could be a good fit, or maybe there would be a potential.
And that was something else I
back.
didn't actually mention in my article for Sports Talk Philly.
I don't see them getting Bobrovsky, but I understand.
I understand
goaltending
it.
Issues, but
here's the thing with that move. it makes sense because you have a true number one goalie.
Mhm.
So there's good things and bad things with
But the people
signing.
thinking that are the ones that want the Flyers to compete a year or two from
Right. I'll put it this way. There's good things and bad things with signing Sergei Bobrovsky back to Philadelphia. The good things, you have a great mentor for Carter Hart. You have a reliable and healthy goalie who's also consistent and one of the best goalies in the league for Bobrovsky. Some of the downsides, he
has 30.
Well, he's 30.
Which means he's probably at this point, because 30 is a kind of a tipping point for goalies.
Not only that, but
That's kind of like the running back version of the NHL or the
Yeah.
NFL or football.
but
Where
I'll
they're-
put it this way, though. Carey Price is the highest paid goalie in the NHL right now. And for...
Let's go see that contract
Yes.
that Montreal's paying for. 10.5 a year.
Yes, exactly. A year. So, anyway,
He's a year
with-
older than Bobrovsky.
yeah. The thing is that Price is being... he signed... this is... I forget,
$84 million.
for 8 years.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think Bobrovsky's going to want something
now-
similar, but for 5 years.
What's
maybe.
Bobrovsky getting paid right now?
I have...
$7.425 million.
Okay. Yeah. He's going to want a bigger contract.
He's gonna want at least 8.5. I'm gonna say
Exactly.
maybe 9.
But overall, though...
But
he's
even
gonna-
with
he's
that,
gonna,
even with
he's
that
gonna
move,
want...
the Flyers cap, with it being $8 million, and you're probably gonna lose Laterra's contract after the season,
Right.
which is $4.7 million,
But you also need to re-sign, remember, Konechny,
and not just that. After this off season, you also have to worry about Patrick and Lindblom.
Yeah. You got, Simmons,
Well,
I
then
don't
at
know
that
what's
point, you
happening.
also
But you got Raffle, Wheel, Lawton, TK, Verone, but he won't be much, though. Provorov, Sanheim, Stolars, Neuver, and Elliott, and Corbin Knight. There's a whole bunch of contracts. It's just, I don't know. I really don't know.
Yep. I really want to know what the Flyers' take on Pascal Laberge is.
I would love
'Cause
to
he's
know
just
that.
He's just on IR all year, but I just wonder if he's someone they fight. At least, I guess now it's not known because no luck Hextall, but if they were high on LeBerge or if he's someone they feel like could move. Because they signed him until 2021, 2022, so they saw something in him. That's the same year for Sam Morin.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting paid more than Sam Morin.
Yes.
That's also going to be interesting, too, because once February comes around, you get Morin back.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he values his D. If he wants them like how the Flyer or how Provorov and Ghost are, where they're cutting in, or would he prefer like a defensive defenseman to get into these guys as well? Someone like Gudis more.
Right.
Just the offensiveness of the D is there, obviously, with Sanheim, Provorov, and Ghost. At times, he can have it. Even when Gudis takes a shot, every once in a while he'll score. But I think the back end defensively, I could see them wanting Morin in there. And if I doubt it happens, but I wonder. McDonald sits, and then you have Morin in.
Something I also thought of. I don't think, unfortunately, this would happen.
Because I still remember last year, like the last. It's sad for Morin because he had such a good last preseason game last year.
He did.
He had the nice assist in the last game.
He did.
And then he just he made the team, but then never played. Got called down, got hurt. When he was gonna come up again, he got hurt, and yes, yeah.
It frustrates me. Well, something I was gonna say is that maybe Seattle could take McDonald in the expansion draft because they would need cap space, but his contract ends 2020, 2021. So that's
you
not
don't have to
happening.
worry about protecting him, but
You
won't have to worry about protecting him.
I know.
But by
So-
then he'll be
What are the odds
34?
of so wait, well, let me
35.
ask you this. At the end of 2019, 2020, he becomes a free he becomes a free agent. What are the odds of him actually getting a contract are?
A good amount. Not the $5 million he's got, but
Well, right.
he can get a small one
From the Flyers?
if Fletcher likes him.
Yeah. That's gonna enrage Philadelphia fans. I think
when they see that he's at that point he's going to be middle age 34 or 30s, they're going to see that he's just the 7th.
Yes, that's fair. Because you'll
And
have
also
Phil
that
Myers
also,
up by then,
well,
probably.
I guess no. I was going to say by then also they want the veteran, but by then Provorov and Ghost are veterans at that point.
Right. And you also have Phil Myers up by then for sure.
And
At least I think.
Friedman probably.
Yeah, I could see that.
He was probably higher than he was more likely probably than Myers was to make it this year.
Good point. Good point.
Ooh. Would we have to protect Frost by then? Or would Frost just be becoming a rookie then?
Because
no, I doubt
how old
it.
is Frost right now? Is 19? No, 8. No, wait.
He is 19.
So next year he will become a pro.
Yeah.
So we would have to protect him.
Yep.
Worth it.
Worth it.
Worth it.
Yep. Want to move to tonight's game against the Flames?
We can.
Your predictions?
We can.
I think that's kind of where we're going to wrap up
I was
going to
say, because honestly, I can't think of much else that we would discuss for today. But Flyers are in Calgary tonight, 8:30 p.m. You can catch this game, NBC Sports Philadelphia or 97.5 The Fanatic if you are listening on the radio. And for this one, like I said, Anthony Stoller is most likely getting the starts for Philadelphia. For the Flames, I'd assume it would be Mike Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And the nice thing is that Sean Couturier will return for tonight.
All right. I think it's going to be...
Wow, the Flames are doing really well. They're 19-10-2.
I say it's going to be a 3-2 Flyers win.
Okay.
Flyers goals will be by Raffle. He'll get his first. Coots and JVR. For the Flames, Neal and Gaudreau.
I think, I'm going to go for a little bit higher scoring game here.
Yeah, they have Noah Hannafin now.
Yes,
forgetting that.
that's right. Saying 5-4 Flyers for the Flames. Their 4 goals. One from Matthew Tkachuk, Johnny Gaudreau, Sean Monahan,
they place another
and Sam Bennett. I think those are their big 4 players.
Mm-hmm.
So they're each going to get a goal for the Flyers. Jake Voracek, James Van Riemsdyk, Sean Couturier will get a goal in his return. Lindblom will get a goal. And go with Robert Haig with the goal. Hager. So 5-4 Flyers.
My fun prediction is Tkachuk gets into a fight.
Oh, that's not a fun prediction. That's almost a guarantee. But that is pretty fun.
With Ghost.
Ooh, no, that's a fun prediction. All right, let's see here. My prediction. Darn it. Well, it was only if this has a condition on this one.
Mm-hmm.
If and only if the Flames are winning, the Flyers have their net pulled, and Mike Smith is in net, and Mike Smith is going to go for an empty net goal.
Yeah, probably.
That's a pretty big condition on that one.
Yeah, it is. A little bit. You're going to have the Flyers losing at that point.
Yeah.
Even though you say they're going to win.
Yeah. No, I know. But I'm just saying that's it's different. But,
yeah.
that's why I had the condition on it.
Right.
But for an actual prediction. Third line or crap.
That secret line,
That's
the
secret
Patrick
line.
Simmons and Lawton line.
Yeah. Darn it.
They're gonna be a line to watch out for.
Yeah, well, I'm sad because I didn't say anyone from their lines going to have any goals, right?
So
I still think that line entirely is going to produce altogether they're going to get 3 points.
okay.
So,
Yeah, I could see that.
yeah. That's my firm prediction.
All right. So I guess until we podcast next, I mean, who knows what happens because it's around Christmas time, but
Oh yeah.
we'll be sure to get on at some point.
Absolutely.
But until then, see ya.